Hello and welcome everyone to our latest MetriSight. This is going to be a good one today because with me today is the CEO of NICE, Scott Russell. So let me do a quick intro and then we're going to get started and hear from Scott. So I think many of you know NICE, and they're one of the world's largest providers of customer experience technologies, including the contact center, analytics, workforce optimization, knowledge management, and just a wide variety of AI-powered applications. Market cap about 10.8 billion last I looked. It may have changed. An annual revenue at about 2.6 billion. I mean, NICE is obviously a very, very well-positioned company. It's been the top CCaaS provider in Metrigy's MetriRank study, which evaluates 5 areas. It evaluates financial strength, market momentum, product mix, customer sentiment, and customer success. We've been doing that for about 3 years, and NICE has been number 1 for 3 years. So, credited with spearheading a lot of these strong financials, rather, is the outgoing CEO, Barak Elam. But with me today, like I said, is his successor, CEO Scott Russell, and he has spent the last 14 plus years prior to coming to NICE in a variety of executive positions with SAP, and most recently as the Chief Revenue Officer and the Executive Board Member of Customer Success. So with that, Scott, you've now had a few months at NICE, and I'm going to pelt you with some questions. So welcome.
Thank you, Robin. And wow, I feel excited and a little intimidated by that opening, but also, the valuation and the way that you see NICE is the same way I do. So excited to be here, excited to talk to you, Robin, and look forward to the conversation.
Great. Yeah, and I actually was very lucky to be at the NICE SKO this year. And gosh, Scott, I think that was only a few weeks after you started, wasn't it? I mean, it was not very long. And it was like this fantastic keynote. It was so energetic, so good. You really could feel the energy in the room. So, kind of with that, I guess, as you get started, you're definitely underway now, leading the company. What do you expect to be your most notable short-term accomplishment as CEO, let's say by this time next year?
This time next year. It was exciting. In fact, it was a great way to open. You don't always get the opportunity in the first couple of weeks of joining a company, being able to be in front of a really important group of stakeholders and employees, being in our sales and field kickoff. So it was a great way to open and give myself a chance to share my vision and my thoughts. And as you say, being here for 3 months. Look, I would say very clearly is beat and lead and deliver what you started with, what you see and what Metrigy and your assessments are, which is a market leader. We are a market leader. I joined the company because NICE has been a market leader in the CCaaS space for a long period of time. But what really motivates me is not only continuing the journey that Barak had put and this great team had put in place, but to be successful, you're never satisfied with the current status quo. You're always looking for more. And my obsession is about not only driving growth and success for NICE, but being even more relevant for our customers, delighting their consumers, delivering outcomes, resolving issues, delivering a service at the maximum possible level, and using technology and the innovation. And I'm sure we're going to talk about AI and all sorts of things that are inherent to that, but to continue and accelerate that journey, accelerate success for our customers, accelerate success for NICE, and that includes both our employees and our investors, and ultimately be well on the journey of being that market leader in a new dynamic space that we're now in. Customer service, customer experience. It's not a static environment, it's a dynamic one, and we want to lead the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also like it's different joining as a CEO of a company that like say it's a failing company versus one that's really succeeding. Like you join as a failing company, you can come in there and say, okay, we're going to fix this, and this. But when you're joining a company and it's very successful, what do you do then? Like, so can you be a little more specific maybe on changes you might be making at NICE, particularly given it has been on a successful trajectory?
You're right, Robin. In fact, I've actually noticed it in my career, and when I was at SAP, but
Hmm.
even beforehand in prior companies, I seem to have a habit of joining and taking on roles that are in a successful position.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I enjoy that because the challenge is to take something that's already operating really well and going to great, or if it's already great, being even
Yeah.
greater. And greatness for me is about not just an event or a given year, but it's a journey. So, what are the things that I'm focused on to answer your question? The journey that NICE has been on has been to have an entire portfolio to be able to fulfill around customer experience. If you look at our history with our WEM and our workforce management capability, then we then moved in, particularly with our in contact acquisition,
Yeah.
whole lot of other capabilities around the CCAS. And then in the last 5 or 6 years, as you've really observed, around our AI capability, we've got all the foundation ingredients. There's three things that I would say. The first is to accelerate our product roadmap and our capabilities to serve in the dynamic market. So what we've done on AI, particularly around analytics, insights, Copilot,
Mhm.
Autopilot, is fantastic, but there's more we can do. And you can clearly see agentic AI as an enabling capability together with Gen AI. That's number one. We will accelerate our roadmap and our capability and make it relevant in real time for our customers. Secondly, it is about being a strategic element of a broader ecosystem. And I think for enterprise customers, and you would speak to them all the time, and I'm interested in your views on this, is enterprise customers are not only interested in what we do, but also how it fits within an organizational framework that uses other technologies,
Yeah.
whether it be in their mid office or in their back office. So that connective tissue, our technology partnerships, how we work with SIs, you will see a significant acceleration, maybe some new partnerships coming up where we can really showcase not only the strength of NICE, but also the connective tissue with other solutions that are a part of that landscape. And then number three is really establish ourselves as the ongoing AI leader in changing the landscape of CX. And I believe that goes into areas of fulfillment, of a dynamic interaction with consumers. We see interactions continue to rise. We're in a market that has an ongoing increasing demand from consumers, so that when they go to enterprise, they're expecting more speed, scale, quality, efficiency. They are expectations. Customers want their concerns resolved or their issues, their tasks fulfilled in a more active, more faster, and more vibrant way. And that means that we need to lead the way. We can't let the market come to us. So AI, partnerships, and then leadership around the future space around how customer service will be delivered for enterprises going forward.
I do. I like all those answers. Those are great answers. And in fact, they all do really align well with our research. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of companies changing the way they make decisions, and not so much in the old school IT way where they have to understand every bit and byte of every technology you're offering, because the pace of innovation is going so fast they can't keep up. And I think in our research it's showing that they're increasingly, and it's really accelerated quickly, going to be relying more on companies like you, to basically say, well, we'll have a high level understanding of technology, but we're not going to know every bit and byte. And we're going to come and bring our problems and opportunities to you and have you tell us what we should do. We're going to trust you that much. And when I'm speaking now, it's like, that's one of my biggest messages is your selection of a technology provider is one of the most important decisions you're making in this world right now. And is that something that you feel, okay, yeah, we are prepared to take on these more consultative sales conversations, or is that something you're going to rely on your partners for? Both?
Both. Robin,
Yeah.
I'm really interested in that feedback that you're getting from customers and what you're seeing, because I feel the same way. If you think about the way enterprise technology decisions, and as you know, we've got a lot of the market that is still on, can I call it legacy technology, on-premise
Yeah.
solutions that they haven't yet moved. But when you're making the decision, you're not making the decision on your platform on the here and now, but a partner that is obsessed about what you need to deliver great customer experience, great customer service, where innovation continues to be delivered. If there was ever a showcase for cloud and AI, it is that, because you need the innovation, you need the agility. But the thing that I'm also interested in, and I wonder whether it's been a feedback you're getting with when you speak to customers in the market, is also about the change management. How do I adopt and consume this change? And I think partners that are helping customers through that journey, having the change management, great to have autopilot, great to have copilot, great to have analytics,
Mhm.
but how do I use and consume it in a world where my customer service platform is at high volume real time? And I think that's where partnerships, advisory systems integrators in particular, become really important for us, because they can give the skills that complement businesses when they make that change.
I think I agree with that, and I think a lot of what we're seeing is that companies don't realize what they don't know until they realize it. Like we don't know what we don't know kind of thing. So I think a lot of them go into it not realizing the change management that has to take place until they stumble, and then it's like, oh gosh, what do we do? And then I do believe that those are the types of companies that can help out a lot.
And I think that's the beauty of with the AI capability that we've already put in place, is the step change once you've got the platform, and which is why I'm so excited, as you've seen, is we've got the platform with our CX1 and CX1 Empower. Once you've got the platform in place, to be able to adopt autopilot for these scenarios, and then I want my agents
Mhm.
to use the copilot for these incremental adoption of innovation consumed in the way you're delivering customer efficiency, better quality,
Yeah,
faster term, better use of knowledge. All of these things become incrementally easier. And so once we help our customers get to that point, at least the journey going forward is one that they feel that they can absorb.
right.
But we need to give them that playbook, and it is an area that we're really focused on with our go-to-market teams.
Yeah, giving them a playbook and even helping your partners to, advise them along too. Totally. Kind of along those lines, when I look at the contact center space and even workforce engagement management, I put forth that no other business area or business unit within your customer base, let's say, has as much like technology and analytics and evaluation for the employees in that space in the contact center. Like they are under a microscope. So always curious as to why this technology isn't marketed to and extended to other parts of the companies more than it is, like frontline employees or sales teams, field service, marketing. You can be using this in so many different ways. Could that or will that be a growth strategy for NICE? You've got this plethora of technology. So I want to know, first of all, is that going to be a growth strategy? And also, you can't help but wonder, I mean, will you bring in your expertise from your own experience to help accomplish this?
Yeah, I'm smiling because the observation, it's an interesting one. So as you,
Mhm.
you say, right, I have a background in enterprise technology
Yeah.
for many years that pretty much covered the entire majority landscape of what enterprises do, from front to back office and everything in between.
Mhm.
And you're right, when I looked at what NICE has and I see how it performs, for not only in terms of fulfilling the interactions and the intents of consumer, but a real-time platform that has a knowledge base using foundational models to be able to give real-time response. So speed, accuracy, and volume of
Yeah.
information, and do it in such a concise, high-quality way. It is actually remarkable. Now, on one hand, I would say, Robin, that being deep in the field of customer experience, I think it matters. And I am a believer in depth of knowledge and insight in domains as you're trying to exploit the use of the available technology, such as AI and other pieces. I believe that's important because context matters. And
Mhm.
clearly, we know that world. We understand what consumers want, when they want it, how. We understand all of the different routes. We know what are the most efficient. And so we can use that knowledge to drive a better consumer experience, but also do it in a more efficient way for enterprise.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
to your point, I also see adjacency and
Right.
the ability and the one that speaks loudest to me is in the mid and back office with that enterprise software space. It is often highly inefficient. And one of the things that I noticed that when I was working in that world was how much that world was trying to serve a consumer, often in a service scenario,
Mhm.
but it wasn't geared towards that high volume, real time interaction. Now, those technologies are trying to get there, but we're already there. So
Yeah,
being
yeah,
able to step and move into fulfill through the mid and the back office is clearly an opportunity. It's not about taking it over, although there are things that we can do
Mhm.
on behalf of with a platform now that maybe we couldn't have done 5 years ago. So I want to be able to do more things at the point of interaction. If we can solve at the point of interaction more of the most complex, and we can do it both AI agents, human agents, and the interoperability, and we go into the mid and the back with frontline employees, with sales teams, service, back office, then, and we can automate that, which we can. I think the opportunity for us is for NICE and adjacency in a broader addressable market. But frankly, for an enterprise, they have a platform that has deeper reach, but benefits from that frontline knowledge and capability and that real-time capability that we obviously need to do,
right.
given the nature of our business.
Okay. So, I mean, doing that will certainly bring in more revenue. So I want to ask you, revenue growth. Where do you see NICE's revenue? I would say 5 years might be too far out. What do you feel comfortable projecting? 2 years, 3 years? What are your kind of your growth goals?
So you can imagine, Robin, I spoke internally about revenue growth and
Hmm.
targets, and obviously you were at SKO, and I don't have a number in mind. Partly because I don't want to limit what our success is. What I can say is this is a fast growing market. I am excited about the fact that we have more and more participants. This may sound strange. We've got more and more startups and venture capital backed and AI startups in the world of customer service than we've ever seen before. We've got large enterprise players that are looking at this and saying, what a great space where we can deliver our technology. That means that the investment that enterprises are making in not only getting on-prem to cloud, but being the beacon of using AI and its technology and agentic to be able to deliver better outcomes for their customers, we're in the right place. And that means to be the leader, what I said at the beginning was accelerate our roadmap,
Yeah.
use partnerships, and be the leader in this space, which means we need to grow faster than market.
Okay.
That growth, I believe, is only limited by our speed to take that, being able to convince our customers that the investment to move across is a worthwhile one. So I don't see my competition necessarily as the immediate competitors. It's the competition to do other things, maybe on employee engagement or on finance or on procurement in other areas. You can spend in many ways. For me, customer service is the best use case. And if we do that and we're the leader, trust me, we will naturally grow and grow really well. And clearly, your feedback around what you're seeing in the market, what are
Yeah.
the capabilities, that's usually where we're trying to understand, all right, what does the market need from us to help them make that decision faster and easier?
And that's the thing. It's like you can innovate way faster than the market can consume it, right? But we did ask in our last study about the pace of innovation and is it where you need it to be? And I was surprised because you hear complaints about that. Oh, things are moving too fast. We can't keep up. But the majority of companies said we are happy with the pace of innovation. We like this. It's helping us to be more innovative. So it'll be interesting to see where like how fast can you innovate to where the customers will say, okay, wait a minute, now it's too fast, and that will really, tell us where the growth is. We do see though, the companies are spending less on contact center agent licenses at the expense of spending more on AI for customer service. So that's exactly the direction you're going in.
No doubt. And in fact,
Yeah.
it's your feedback that guides us because that is true. I think the role of agents and human agents will continue to play a vital role for the foreseeable future, at least in terms of customer service. But
Mhm.
it is not the only role. And as you say, using AI, so whether it be AI agents around having better conversations about being able to fulfill through the mid and the back office, as I described before, being able to automate, being able to just make even a human call more successful by using our co-pilot technology, there are a variety of ways that we're using that to make that experience a better one.
Okay.
I smile. The word experience is an important one, isn't it? Quite often we're very focused around efficiency, but the
Yeah.
experience of consumers fulfilling what they need, doing that at scale, using the available technology in the most effective way. That's really why I think you're getting that feedback that it's about at the right pace because they're getting the demand and the
Hmm.
expectation from their consumers, and they're able to do it in an efficient way. So it's not mutually exclusive. We can do both together. And the good news is that NICE is, as you say, we've been leading the way, but we're not satisfied. We've got to keep on going.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, well, the movement in AI, we're definitely seeing a lot of demand for it, no doubt. But when we look at our success metrics, you're spot on with customer service, customer experience, like the CSAT scores, basically how satisfied are customers. When we ask them what's the most of all the business metrics that you can measure, increased revenue, decreased cost, improve agent efficiency, CSAT, where are you getting the biggest bang for your buck? It's CSAT.
CSAT,
No matter what we look at with AI. So
yeah,
you're right, you're spot on there.
no doubt.
Um,
Resolving the request
mhm.
or fulfilling the task or performing the service and doing it in the highest quality, most efficient way, that ultimately leads to a happier customer, and being able, and as you can see more and more with our proactive AI, is being able to preempt that, get in front of it. So fulfilling
So much.
before I've even asked, those become more and more in the customer service world, which I think gives us a really, it's an inspirational challenge because we want to make the lives of consumers in communities all around the world, the billions of interactions, we want it to be a positive experience and one that, when they think about the enterprise, that it creates brand loyalty, it
Yeah.
creates that fanatic followership versus you've met the need, and CSAT scores, as you say, are really
Yeah.
the leading and important indicator.
So let me shift gears a little bit. I think as people are watching and listening, they're getting a sense of a little bit about who Scott Russell is, right? But as you know, Brock was at the company for a long time. People knew him very well. How would you say that your management style differs from his, or your leadership style? I mean, you think all your global. You've done a lot of things globally. How does that all play a role? So kind of compare and contrast. What can your customers, your employees, what can they expect that it's going to be, a little different from the management style or the leadership style that they've been accustomed to for so many years?
So it's a little hard for me having I've got to know Barack really well, an
Yeah.
incredible leader, incredible professional. But unfortunately, he and I have actually never actually worked, so I'm probably not the person to be able to
Okay.
speak in that depth. But what I can tell you is maybe what my style and maybe what our customers and our employees and our partners and other stakeholders expect. Look, as you can see, I'm one of those people that has to be passionate about, and I'm an energetic person. But when it's on something that I care deeply about, and whether it's my family and my loved ones, or I love sport as well. But when it comes to the business that I'm in, I made the decision to be really in this business. So I'm passionate, I'm energetic,
Yeah.
and I guess as a result of that, what you see, speed and precision, and I use those two together because it's not just about being fast, because sometimes you can be fast and fall over. It's about being fast and precise, great solutions or great go to market. So the time to deliberate is always there. The strategic thinking, the big picture thinking. But when we've made big decisions, execute quickly to be able to move us along the journey. And I talk a lot in my past around and with the team around following through. Make every
Okay.
decision a great one. A lot of people focus on decisions and is it a good or a bad decision? I tend not to think that way. Every decision has the potential to be good or bad. It's what you do after that decision, the follow through, whether it be a market change, an acquisition, a product upgrade, a customer, serving a customer more effectively, dealing with a problem. What
Okay.
you do and what you do afterwards when you've made that decision and making it a great one is something that I really pride myself on to be able to drive through. And then the other thing that I guess that I will say is balancing listening and acting. And We have a market that is highly vocal and being able to understand. So it's hard to know. It's noisy. There's so many
Mhm.
different moving parts. What's going to be the future of customer service? How much will AI play a role in changing what human agents do? Can we automate what happens through the mid and back office? How do we orchestrate through that? What are the role of the CRMs and the other players? So all of this is noisy. So it's being able to distill that, and then once you get an understand, being able to act more appropriately. So as a leader, I very much pride myself on listening to what the market, what our customers say, what the analysts and the experts, such as yourself, says that is happening in this space, and what are the expectations, and then what we see from a competitive landscape, and then being able to quickly act and move forward. Last but not least, for what it's worth, is I'm a growth. I love growth. I grow in all aspects of life, but you can expect our business to be a fast growing one, but it's in response to creating value to our customers, because that's the only way you can sustainably grow.
Absolutely. So, as you look at that growth, I mean, are there any areas right now that you're particularly looking at for, expansion? It could be acquisition, but I know that that's a sensitive area. But, any particular areas that you say, this is definitely something we're going to expand in at this point, or are you still evaluating that?
Yeah, I guess I've alluded to a few spots, and
Yeah.
look, clearly as an organization, both our history and I can easily, very happily say in our future, we want to be able to use the combination of building great technology, partnering with those to help enhance an end-to-end portfolio that
Okay.
solves at 1 + 1
Yeah.
= 3, and acquisition of capability that we need to be able to serve. There's a few things that are really important to me as I look at that in our landscape. One, it is be the true interaction platform that is able to fulfill, no matter what the channel is, no matter what the complexity is, both real time, synchronous, asynchronous, being able to work from human agent, AI agents, and everything in between. Having a robust platform with all the knowledge, all the workflow, all the services, and being able to fulfill that in the most
Yeah.
comprehensive way. I believe that customers look at CS as a critical function that they need to deliver successfully, but it needs to be an adjacency with where they also are driving their technology landscape, which leads me to my second, which is fulfillment. And what I mean by that is more accurately, more successfully, more deeply being able to fulfill what a consumer needs at that point of interaction. And that means doing more tasks, orchestrating more activities, and automating that through our platform than we've ever done before.
Okay.
The good news is, as you know, and as I guess you've seen, and I'd be interested in your feedback about what we should look at. We're the leader in many of these spaces in terms of the core capabilities, but there is also pieces that we need to do. So what I'm interested in what you see in the market, whether it be in the CRM or in the UC space, because I know that you're evaluating and seeing this all the time as well about what customers are expecting from platforms like ours.
Yeah, I mean it's a good question. I mean we're definitely seeing a few meta trends as well, some new ones that are just emerging too. But some of them could potentially put us at risk. I mean, companies, when we ask them what is their core CX platform, consistently they'll put CRM over the contact center. So that's certainly one area. Another is, companies wanting to integrate their UC and collaboration platform with their CX platform, and maybe even CPaaS for that matter. You have the UC service now that you're offering. You don't have CPaaS, and with CPaaS, there's also that, whole area of being able to have no code, low code applications and use CPaaS for more proactive. You already mentioned proactive. So those are some of the areas that I see. I don't know if you have any, specific plans there on how to address. I don't know that I would see, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know that I'd see NICE say, okay, we're gonna start launching a CRM, or we're gonna buy a CRM provider. I mean, it's not all that crazy, to be honest. I mean, we see all the integration happening with some of the CRM channels. But anyway, those are some of the things that I would see.
Yeah, and Robin, you rightly point out some of the really the meta trends that we do see. There is
Hmm.
no doubt that as a CX platform, a CX provider that is, I would argue, best in class in what we do, customers do expect at the point of interaction that there are data and knowledge that not
Mhm.
only comes from a CRM, but you think about logistics, inventory, payments, invoicing, other knowledge or information that is related to that customer that sits in systems of record. And so I believe strongly that if we're going to be that platform of the future, which we will be, our ability to be able to easily connect into those platforms to be able to do that in a more effective way is critical. And yes, that does require us to have more core functionality. I wouldn't call it a CRM, but there are
Okay.
features that may have traditionally been in a CRM suite that we will have inherent in our platform. And we already do that with our analytics and insights platform on the consumer side. You mentioned about the CPaaS side and the platform.
Yeah.
I do believe that is a key element to it. And I think what you'll see from NICE, without being too prescriptive, is a combination of partnerships and
Okay.
capability that is inherent in the platform. How how that evolves depends a little bit on how well we can partner with others, and you can be assured we will, and bring to life those capabilities, but also what we believe is core to that interactions platform that is able to do that out of the box without needing it to go into other solutions. And the one thing I've used this point a few times, and I don't know whether you see it, Robin, but the thing that really interested me when I really looked into this space was the real time nature of what we do. A lot of those platforms are built for an internal use or internal stakeholders, and
True.
availability, scale, performance, accuracy, quality, the things that we take for granted in the world of CCaaS are not as evident when you work in other areas. And so what I've
Mm.
seen is
Interesting.
while they want, as you rightly point out, companies are saying, look, I want my CX platform, my CRM, it's got to be interoperable. That is true, but they definitely don't want to give up on that real time capability. And that's one of the reasons why I think the strength of NICE, what we have, and how we can then expand into those other areas will become the predominant way. But we've got to work in an environment where there is other enterprise platforms, and I think it's more of a partnership than it is about a replacement of.
Yeah, and I think some of the recently announced orchestrator, the Empower orchestrator that just won Best of Show, which I wasn't a judge this year, but I have been a judge in the past. That is not easy to win Best. There's a lot of competition. So first of all, congratulations to your team on that because that's a pretty cool product, and I think it brings together a lot of the pieces that you're talking about here. Another big one that I know you guys are great at is just I am so bullish right now on like conversation and interaction analytics. I feel like we're just scratching the surface there, but what LLMs can pull out of all the conversations and the interactions that we have with customers, there's just so much value there. And I feel like there's a lot of value there for the C-suite, for the executive level at a company where, I'm the CEO and I'm trying to make decisions in my healthcare company. If I can look at what patients are saying and have some summarizations that are relevant to me and the decisions I'm making, that's golden. And I don't think a lot of companies are really focusing on taking that information outside of the contact center and bringing it into, the C-suite. And I think there's a lot of potential there. But
We've done a lot of research on this, Robin, about the role that analytics
yeah,
data and the insights that it
so
plays.
important.
And you're right, it's actually remarkable because not only do we have the insights, but it's happening in the real-time interaction with a consumer that is on a chat, on a call, and being able to do that. So we've really geared it towards that interaction. But when you surmise it, which we've now done
Mhm.
with our XO platform and what we've now done with Orchestra, that insight from a CEO to be able to not only get the CSAT score, but what are the areas of pain? What is the voice of the customer? What do they want change? It gives
Totally.
you such direction about what you need to do downstream to be able to fulfill that in a more successful way.
So true. So I know we've been chatting for a while. I want to wrap up and ask you a question that you've given people a lot of reasons already, and all that you've said about why they would maybe consider using Nice or stay with using Nice or expand their use of Nice. But let's say I'm a chief customer officer at a company. I'm trying to decide on who I should use. Just why Nice versus any other provider? You have a lot of competitors out there. Why Nice?
So why NICE? Customer success is a non-negotiable. Your customers demand so much from your enterprise, and you spend your entire company focusing on the quality of the products, the capability of your people. All of the efforts that you do as a company is geared towards fulfilling that customer.
Yeah.
Don't ignore their voice. Understand their needs, their wants, their desires, their intents, and being able to do so in a way that delights your customer. At NICE, we will not only help you delight your customers, serve them in the most effective, scalable, and the highest performing way, but we will do it in the most efficient, automated way within your enterprise. So you get the best of both worlds. A real-time CX platform that interacts with your consumers in the best possible way, but the insights to deliver an efficiency so that the rest of your business can gain the benefits of a great customer experience.
Well, great way to wrap up this fantastic discussion, Scott. I really appreciate you taking out the time. I think our audience is really going to enjoy all of your words of wisdom here. I wish you the best of luck in your first year as CEO at NICE, and look forward to many future discussions. So thanks, Scott.
Thank you so much, Robin. Wonderful to talk to you, and really appreciate the opportunity today. Thank you.
Thank you.